I'm sitting in my studio apartment in the Tenderloin, listening to the couple upstairs fight again while I count out quarters for tomorrow's bus fare. $4.75. That's all I have left until my shift at the diner on Thursday. The refrigerator hums empty except for some leftover rice and a half jar of peanut butter. 3 years ago, I had a Tesla, a meal delivery service, a nanny for Kaylee, a 4-bedroom house in Pacific Heights with views of the Golden Gate Bridge. 3 years ago, I had Ryan. 3 years ago, I opened my big mouth at exactly the wrong time. The thing about being a single mom in San Francisco is that everyone pretends to be progressive and understanding, but the reality hits different when you're trying to date. Men see you have a kid and poof, suddenly you're either desperate or damaged goods. The good ones, the ones with real money and no baggage, they usually run the other direction. That's why I had rules. Smart rules, I thought. But before I get to the rules, let me tell you how I became a single mom in the first place. I got pregnant at 22 by Tyler, this bartender I was dating who swore he was going to open his own restaurant. Hot guy, great in bed, always talked a big game about his plans. Turned out his biggest plan was disappearing when the pregnancy test came back positive. Left me a voicemail saying he wasn't ready to be tied down. Haven't heard from him since. So there I was, pregnant and alone, watching all my friends graduate college while I was throwing up in gas station bathrooms. My family helped a little, but they made it clear I'd made my bed. My dad's favorite phrase was, "Should have kept your legs closed." That's when I decided I was never going to struggle like that again. Never going to trust some broke loser with big dreams and no bank account. I had Kaylee, and we deserved better. No single dads, period. I didn't care how hot they were or how much money they made. I wasn't going to be somebody's second priority behind their kid and their ex. I wasn't going to deal with custody schedules and child support drama and bitter baby mamas showing up at random times. I had enough complications in my life. I remember this one guy, David, who messaged me on Bumble. Good-looking, owned a tech startup, seemed perfect until I saw proud father of 2 in his bio. He wrote this long message about how he understood being a single parent and thought we could relate to each other's struggles. I screenshot it and sent it to my group chat with laughing emojis. This broke dad thinks I want to play mommy to his kids while his ex-wife spends all his money. Next. My friends and I would sit around drinking wine, scrolling through dating apps, mocking all the single dads with their desperate profiles. Looking for someone who understands kids come first. Translation, you'll always be last. My kids are my world. Translation, I'm broke from child support, hoping to blend families. Translation, I need a free babysitter who will also sleep with me. No broke guys either. San Francisco rent was insane even back then. I needed someone who could actually subsidize my life, not someone who wanted to split a $40 dinner bill down to the penny. Kaylee needed stability. She needed dance classes and good schools and clothes that didn't come from Target clearance racks. I had a whole system for weeding out the losers. If they suggested coffee for a first date, blocked. If they mentioned splitting the bill, blocked. If they drove anything less than a BMW, blocked. If they lived with roommates, blocked. If they worked some regular job instead of tech or finance, blocked. Know your worth, ladies, I'd post on Instagram with selfies of me and Kaylee. Single moms deserve more, not less. If he can't provide, let him go bother someone else. What I wanted was simple. A successful man with no kids who would treat me and Kaylee like princesses. Someone who understood that dating a single mom meant stepping up financially. Someone who wouldn't expect me to be grateful for the bare minimum. I found Ryan on a sugar dating site. Yeah, I know how that sounds now, but at the time it made perfect sense. Why waste time on regular dating apps with guys who would ghost me the second they found out I had a kid? At least on Seeking Arrangements, everything was up front. They knew I was a single mom. They knew I expected financial support. No games, no pretending. My profile was perfect. I spent hours on it, getting the angles just right in my photos, crafting my description. Young single mother seeking generous gentleman who understands the finer things in life. Looking for someone who values family and knows how to treat a lady. No drama, no games, no single dads. Serious inquiries only. I must have rejected 100 messages before Ryan's came through. Too old, too ugly, too cheap, not rich enough. I had spreadsheets where I tracked their net worth claims against their profile details. If something didn't add up, blocked. If they mentioned wanting to take things slow financially, blocked. If they suggested a regular restaurant instead of fine dining, blocked. Ryan messaged me on a Tuesday. His profile said he was 38, divorced, no kids, tech executive. His photos showed a handsome guy with salt and pepper hair, expensive suits, photos from vacations in places I'd only seen in magazines. He owned a company that did something with artificial intelligence that I never quite understood, but I understood the number in his net worth section just fine. His first message included a $1,000 gift card to buy something nice for you and your daughter. Now that was how you got my attention. Our first date was at a restaurant where the cheapest entree was $60. He ordered wine that cost more than my weekly grocery budget. He asked about Kaylee, seemed genuinely interested when I showed him photos. He didn't flinch when I mentioned I couldn't always get a babysitter. He just smiled and said we'd figure it out. I've always wanted kids, he told me over dessert. Just never happened for me. My ex-wife was focused on her career. I remember thinking I'd hit the jackpot. Here was this successful, generous guy who actually wanted to be involved with a single mom. He wasn't just tolerating Kaylee's existence like other guys had, he was excited about it. The arrangement started exactly how I'd hoped. Ryan paid for everything without me having to ask. Dinners, shopping trips, spa days. He moved us from my cramped apartment in Oakland to that beautiful house in Pacific Heights. Kaylee got enrolled in a private school that cost more per year than I'd ever made. He hired a nanny so I could have free time. He took us to Disneyland, Hawaii, bought Kaylee an iPad for her 6th birthday. My friends were so jealous. My Instagram was full of photos of our perfect life. Kaylee called him Daddy Ryan. I quit my job at the dental office because Ryan said I should focus on being a mom. He handled everything financially. But let me tell you how I really worked him. It was an art form, honestly. The key was making him think everything was his idea. I'd leave my laptop open to private school websites when he came over. I'd sigh sadly when we passed nice houses. I'd mention casually how tired I was from my long commute from Oakland. Within weeks, he was suggesting we move in together, that Kaylee should go to private school, that I should quit my job. "Oh, Ryan, I couldn't possibly let you do all that," I'd say, while already mentally decorating the house. I had him trained perfectly. If I wanted something, I never asked directly. I'd just mention how another single mom friend got something nice from her boyfriend. Jennifer's boyfriend surprised her with a Chanel bag for no reason. Isn't that sweet? Some men just really know how to show love. By the weekend, there'd be a shopping trip. I joined this online group for women in sugar relationships where we'd share tips. I learned exactly how to play the game. Never seem too eager. Always have a sob story ready about struggling to provide for your child. Make them feel like heroes for helping. Give them just enough affection to keep them hooked but always leave them wanting more. The trick is to make them think they're saving you, one woman posted. Men love feeling needed. Especially the ones who can't have kids. They're the easiest marks. Ryan was textbook. Successful, lonely, desperate to play family. I gave him exactly what he wanted. A ready-made family where he got to be the hero daddy. And all it cost him was everything I asked for. For a year and a half, it was everything I'd dreamed of. I'd post photos of the flowers he sent, the jewelry he bought, the vacations we took. My friends from high school who'd married their broke boyfriends and were struggling with 2 incomes could see I'd made the smart choice. I'd held out for what I deserved. Looking back, I can see the red flags I ignored. The way Ryan would get quiet when I talked about my dating rules. How he'd change the subject when I mentioned my friends' dating disasters with single dads. The way his jaw would tighten when I laughed about the pathetic guys on regular dating apps who expected successful women to settle for less. But I was living my best life. Why would I pay attention to small things like that? The beginning of the end came at a dinner party with his work friends. We were at his colleague Sarah's house in Marin, one of those gatherings where everyone discusses their portfolios and vacation homes. I was wearing a dress Ryan had bought me, drinking champagne that probably cost more than most people's car payments. Sarah's husband Mark was telling a story about his brother, who'd just started dating a single mom. "She's got 3 kids," Mark said, shaking his head. 3! And my brother's out here playing daddy to another man's offspring while she sits at home spending his money. Everyone laughed. I laughed too, louder than anyone. I took a slow sip of my champagne and leaned back, ready to hold court. "That's exactly why I refuse to date single dads," I said, the champagne making me bold. "Why would I want to raise someone else's kids? Deal with some bitter ex-wife? Please." I told Ryan from day one, I'd never date a man with kids. That's just asking for drama and divided resources. The table went quiet. Sarah raised her eyebrows. A woman named Patricia cleared her throat. "Besides," I continued, not reading the room at all, "single dads are usually broke from child support anyway. They can't properly provide. That's why I specifically looked for someone with no baggage. Someone who could focus completely on me and Kaylee." Ryan's hand tightened on his wine glass. "I mean, thank God I found Ryan," I said, leaning into him. "He gets it. He understands that when you date a single mom, you need to step up. Not like these pathetic single dads on dating apps expecting women to play stepmommy for free. Some of us actually respect single fathers," Patricia said coldly. "My husband has 2 children from his first marriage. I don't think he's pathetic for loving his kids." I laughed. "Oh, please, you can't tell me it's not easier without the baby mama drama. Without some other woman's kids sucking up all the resources. I bet you wished he came without all that baggage." "Actually, watching him be a devoted father is what made me fall in love with him," Patricia snapped back. "Well, good for you," I said, rolling my eyes. Personally, I have standards. I wasn't going to settle for some used-up divorced dad when I could have someone fresh, someone who could give everything to me and my daughter instead of splitting it with some other family. "Fresh?" Sarah asked, her voice sharp. "These are human beings you're talking about, not produce." "You know what I mean. Why take on someone else's problems? I had one goal. Find a man with money and no kids. Mission accomplished." I raised my glass toward Ryan. And honestly, it was so easy. Men like Ryan are just dying to play daddy. You just have to know how to work them. "Melissa," Ryan said quietly, "maybe we should—" "I'm just being honest," I interrupted. "I knew what I wanted and I got it. A successful man with no kids who takes care of everything. That's what every single mom should hold out for. Not some broke guy with baby mama drama who expects you to love his kids while he can barely pay for dinner." The silence at the table was deafening. Sarah was staring at her plate. Mark was suddenly very interested in his phone. Patricia and her husband were exchanging looks. "What?" I asked, looking around. "Why is everyone being weird?" "I'm just saying what every single mom thinks but won't admit." Ryan stood up abruptly. "We should go." "Kaylee has school tomorrow." The drive home was silent. Not comfortable silent like usual, but tense. Like the air before a storm. I was too buzzed to really notice, still riding high from what I thought was just being honest and empowered. When we got home, Ryan told the nanny she could leave early. He tucked Kaylee into bed himself, spending extra time reading her a story. I was already in bed when he came to our room, scrolling through my phone, liking comments on my latest Instagram post about our perfect life. He sat on the edge of the bed, still fully dressed. "We need to talk," he said. "About what?" I put my phone down, annoyed. If this is about dinner, I don't know why everyone got so weird. I was just being honest. "Honest," he repeated like he was tasting the word. "Is that what you call it?" "What else would I call it?" "I'm not going to apologize for having standards." He was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was different, distant. "Do you know why my marriage ended?" I shrugged. "You said she was focused on her career." "That's what I told you." "The truth is more complicated." He stared at his hands. "We tried for kids for 5 years. IVF, fertility treatments, the whole thing. It destroyed us. The stress, the disappointment, the blame. She left because she couldn't watch me grieve anymore for the children we'd never have." Something cold settled in my stomach. "When I met you," he continued, "I thought maybe this was my second chance. Not to have my own kids, but to be a father figure. To be part of a family. I thought what we had was real." "It is real," I said, reaching for him, but he pulled away. "Is it? Or am I just your meal ticket? Your successful man with no baggage, who takes care of everything?" "That's not... I didn't mean it like that." "How did you mean it then?" "When you said single dads are pathetic, when you laughed about men playing daddy to another man's offspring." His voice was getting louder. "Is that what you think I am? Pathetic?" "No. You're different. You chose this." "Did I? Or did I just fit your requirements? No kids, 6 figures, willing to pay for everything." I was fully sober now, panic rising in my throat. "Ryan, please." "I love you. Kaylee loves you." "Do you? Or do you love what I provide?" "Both. I mean, why does it have to be one or the other?" He stood up, running his hands through his hair. "Jesus Christ, Melissa, listen to yourself." "I'm just practical. I'm looking out for my daughter." "Is that so wrong?" "Your daughter," he said quietly. "Right. Your daughter who calls me daddy. Your daughter who I've raised for 1.5 years. Your daughter who I love like my own. But I'm just the wallet, right? The sucker who pays for everything while you laugh with your friends about how smart you were to land me." "I never said that." "You didn't have to. You made it crystal clear tonight. I'm not a partner to you. I'm not family. I'm just the successful man with no baggage who funds your lifestyle." He walked to the closet, pulled out a suitcase. "What are you doing?" I scrambled out of bed. "Ryan, stop. Let's talk about this." "We are talking." For the first time, apparently, you're being honest about how you see me, how you've always seen me. "Please," I grabbed his arm. "Think about Kaylee. You can't just leave." He stopped packing, turned to look at me with so much pain in his eyes that I stepped back. "Don't," he said quietly. "Don't you dare use her as a weapon now. You made it very clear that I'm not her father. I'm just the pathetic guy playing daddy to another man's offspring, remember?" "I wasn't talking about you." "No? Then who are you talking about? Those pathetic single dads you'd never date? Men who love children that aren't biologically theirs? Men who provide for families that include other men's kids? Because from where I'm standing, that's exactly what I am. Except I don't even have my own kids to make me worthy of basic respect in your eyes." "You want to know what the worst part is?" he continued, his voice breaking. "I have every text you sent your friends. Every screenshot where you bragged about your meal ticket. Every message where you called me your ATM with benefits. I thought you were joking. I thought underneath all that you actually loved me." My blood ran cold. "You went through my phone?" "No. Your iPad syncs to your messages. You left it logged in on my computer. I saw everything by accident last month. The group chat where you all share tips on managing your man. The spreadsheet where you track how much I spend on you each month. The messages where you laugh about how easy I am to manipulate." I opened my mouth, but no words came out. "I convinced myself it was just girl talk, that deep down you loved me for me, but tonight you confirmed everything. I'm just the idiot who fell for your act." He zipped up the suitcase. "Ryan, please." "I'm sorry. I was drunk. I was just talking. I didn't mean it." "The thing is, I think you did mean it. I think tonight was the first time you told the truth about how you see this relationship, and now I can't unsee it." He walked to the door, paused. I'll keep paying for Kaylee's school through the end of the semester. That gives you time to figure things out. The lease on the house is in my name, so you'll need to find somewhere else to live. I'll give you 30 days. 30 days? Ryan, please, where are we supposed to go? Maybe one of those pathetic single dads you blocked will take you in. Oh wait, they're all too broke from child support, right? And then he was gone. I stood there in our bedroom, his bedroom, in my designer pajamas, in a house I couldn't afford, with a daughter sleeping down the hall who would wake up without the only father figure she'd ever known. I called him 47 times that night, left sobbing voicemails, sent texts begging him to come home, promising I'd change, that I'd been wrong, that I loved him for him, not his money. He never responded. The next morning, I had to explain to Kaylee why Daddy Ryan wasn't there for breakfast. She cried for an hour. I told her he had to go on a work trip, buying myself time to figure out how to break her heart properly. My friends were no help. When I told them what happened, leaving out the worst parts, they seemed almost satisfied. I mean, you were pretty harsh about single dads, my friend Jessica said. My boyfriend has a son, and it's actually really sweet watching them together. You always talked about Ryan like he was an ATM, another friend added. Maybe he just got tired of it. But he knew what our arrangement was from the beginning, I protested. Arrangement? Melissa, you guys live together. Kaylee called him Daddy. That's not an arrangement, that's a family. Or it was supposed to be. My sister was even worse. You got exactly what you advertised for, she told me. A man with money and no attachments. Did you really think he'd stick around once he realized you saw him as nothing but a wallet? That's not all he was. Really? Then why is the first thing you told me about him was his net worth? Why did you brag about never having to pay for anything? Why did you make fun of single dads for doing exactly what Ryan was doing? Loving a child that wasn't his? I had no answer for that. The 30 days went by in a blur. I had to find a job fast, but my resume had a 1.5 year gap. The dental office where I used to work had already filled my position. With no recent references and limited skills, the best I could find was a receptionist job that paid $15 an hour. But first, I tried everything to get Ryan back. I showed up at his office with Kaylee, knowing he wouldn't make a scene in front of her. Security escorted us out. I had Kaylee call him, crying about missing her daddy. He changed his number. I created fake social media accounts to message him. He blocked them all. I even tried seducing his business partner, thinking I could get information or make Ryan jealous. The partner laughed in my face. Everyone knows what you are, Melissa. Ryan made sure of that. Turns out Ryan had forwarded some of my texts to his entire friend group, the ones where I called him my personal ATM and bragged about never having to work again. The ones where I made fun of him for reading bedtime stories to another man's kid while saying it was worth it for the lifestyle. Everyone in his circle knew exactly what kind of person I was. $15 an hour in San Francisco. It was a joke. I tried going back on the sugar dating sites, but word had gotten around there too. Men in that community talk. My reputation was trash. Gold digger who got too comfortable and showed her true colors. One man even messaged me just to laugh at my situation. I found a 2-bedroom apartment in Oakland, nowhere near as nice as our old place. The neighborhood was rough. The schools were terrible. I had to pull Kaylee out of private school, watch her cry as she said goodbye to her friends. When is Daddy Ryan coming back? She asked every day for months. He's not, baby. He had to go away. Did I do something wrong? No, sweetheart. Mommy did. That was 3 years ago. 3 years of struggling, of working 2 jobs, of buying groceries with coupons, of telling Kaylee we can't afford the things she asks for. 3 years of watching my friends' lives on social media while mine falls apart. 3 years of remembering what I had and how I threw it away with my own stupid mouth. The worst part is watching what I've become. The same single dads I used to mock and block. Now I message them desperately, hoping they'll give me a chance. They see right through me. Sorry, I'm looking for someone who actually values family, not someone shopping for a provider, one responded. I know who you are. Ryan's ex. Everyone knows your story. No thanks, said another. I even matched with David, that single dad with the tech startup I'd mocked years ago. He recognized me immediately. Oh wow, Melissa, I remember you. You screenshot my message and posted it in that toxic single moms group, right? How's that working out for you now? I've been banned from 3 dating sites for messaging men asking about their income in the first conversation. I created a fake profile pretending to be childless, thinking that would help. Got caught when my date saw Kaylee's photo as my phone wallpaper. He called me a catfish and a liar, left me with the check I couldn't afford. Last month I saw Ryan at a Whole Foods in Pacific Heights. I was there buying a single item with a coupon. He was with a woman, her hand on his arm, laughing at something he said. She was pretty, age-appropriate, wearing a wedding ring that caught the light. He saw me. I know he did. His expression went carefully neutral, and he steered her toward another aisle. I abandoned my single item and left. Later, my curiosity got the better of me. I did some social media stalking. Her name is Diana. She's a pediatric surgeon, divorced. 2 kids from her previous marriage. 2 kids. The engagement announcement said Ryan was excited to become a stepfather to her 8-year-old son and 10-year-old daughter. The photos showed him at their soccer games, their school plays, family vacations. He looked happy. Really happy. The kids were hanging off him in every picture, clearly adoring him. Everything I said he'd never want. Everything I mocked and ridiculed, he'd chosen willingly. He'd found a single mom who saw him as a partner, not a bank account, who appreciated him for wanting to be a father figure, not mocked him for it. He'd found someone who deserved him. My phone buzzes. It's the babysitter again, asking about her $40. I text back that I'll have it Friday, knowing she probably won't watch Kaylee again after this. I look around my studio apartment, because yes, I lost the 2-bedroom last year, and think about that dinner party 3 years ago. How smart I thought I was. How proud of my standards, my rules, my refusal to settle. Turns out I wasn't the prize I thought I was. I was just a single mom with an attitude problem and a transactional view of love. I wanted a provider, not a partner. A wallet, not a father for my child. I got exactly what I asked for, and then I threw it away because I couldn't keep my mouth shut about how little I actually valued the man providing it. Ryan gave us everything. Not because he had to, not because of some arrangement, but because he loved us. He wanted to be Kaylee's dad. He wanted to be my partner. He wanted the family he'd never been able to have. And I threw it all away because I was too proud, too entitled, and too stupid to see that what I had was exactly what those pathetic single dads I mocked were offering. Real love, real partnership, real family. Now I'm the pathetic one. Broke, alone, scrolling through dating apps I once mocked, getting rejected by the same single dads I used to block without a second thought. They can smell the desperation on me now. They know I'm not looking for love. I'm looking for rescue. But nobody's coming to rescue me. Why would they? I showed the world exactly who I am. A user who sees men as walking wallets, who mocks them for loving children that aren't theirs, who takes and gives nothing back but contempt. Kaylee doesn't ask about Daddy Ryan anymore. She's 9 now, old enough to understand that some losses are permanent. She's also old enough to notice that other kids have things she doesn't. Dance classes, new clothes, vacations, stability, all the things I was so sure I deserved, all the things I had, all the things I lost because I couldn't appreciate the man who gave them to us. The eviction notice is crumpled on my counter. 27 days now until we have to leave. I don't know where we'll go. My credit is shot. My savings are non-existent. My family is tired of helping someone who won't help herself. I think about messaging Ryan sometimes, apologizing, telling him I understand now, that I see what I had, what he offered, what I threw away. But what would be the point? He's moved on with someone who values him. He's the stepfather he always wanted to be, just not to my daughter. Because I made sure he knew exactly how pathetic I thought that was. The irony is that I spent so much time refusing to date single dads because I didn't want to deal with another woman's children or share resources. Now my daughter doesn't have a father figure at all. No resources, shared or otherwise. Just a bitter mother who gambled on being entitled and lost everything. I wanted a successful man with no kids who would take care of everything. I got him. I lost him. And now I'm exactly where I deserve to be, alone, broke, and begging for the $40 I used to think was too little for him to spend on a single dinner bill. Turns out the only pathetic one in this story was me. It just took 3 years, one broken daughter, and a burned-down life to figure it out.